Intention of going to war with Somalia over Red Sea access for the landlocked country. These remarks were made by the country's Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed in Parliament earlier this week. Ethiopia signed a memorandum of understanding with the breakaway region of Somaliland in January. The document has not been made public, but Somaliland says Ethiopia agreed to recognize its independence in return for a naval port. The deal has rattled Somalia, which asserts the Somaliland is part of Somalia. Thousands of people are fleeing violence in the Eastern Democratic Republic of the Congo as fighting intensifies between the Congolese army and M23 rebels. At least 70% of Sake residents have fled to Goma as militants continue to advance. Locals say the deadly unrest has worsened in recent weeks. Joining us now on the line is Desire Nimubona, journalist and researcher. Desire Mbote, thank you so much for coming through to talk to us.
Thank you.
Just to keep us up to speed, I mean, understandably, the M23 advancing to Sake and the residents are fleeing there. And once they make it through to Sake, they will be heading into Goma. But what is the latest and what is being done to try and stop them, if anything?
Well, it is very difficult to confirm that the M23 is advancing to different locations in the DR Congo right now, because there is a kind of resistance from the coalition, the government and its allies. I say here SADC. I mention also the FARDC, which are the army of the Congolese government, and the other militias who are supporting the government. So it is very, it is not clear if they are really advancing towards Goma, because there is a kind of resistance from this group I was telling you. But the situation, of course, is very alarming, as anyone knows. Since 2022, when the fighting erupted, more than 1 million of people left their homes. So they are sheltered around the Goma, where they are living in very bad conditions. There are crimes which have been documented by Human Rights Watch, for example, MSF and other NGOs. That say that the M23 and the other organizations have raped women, have assassinated people, and some go to qualify them as the crime against humanity. So now the situation is not very good on the ground. There are battling. In a few hours, the FARDC was exposing some items from the ground that they say they have gotten in the fightings in Sake. Sake is not very far from Goma, but it is very difficult to know if the government of Congo and the rebel which is fighting this one, it is very difficult to know if it is true. What they're saying is true, but the truth is that people are dying.
Just on that then, has there been any attempts by government to particularly deal with the rebel movements? We know that M23, in a statement that was issued, they said this was more of a defensive maneuver, but not necessarily trying to take over Goma. What is government doing in response to this?
Well, early this week or in the weekend, we learned that the defense minister, who is also a former rebel leader, he was in Goma, and he was saying that everything was done to prevent the M23 to take Goma, and the M23 itself was saying that it is not the plan is not to seize Goma. But Goma is, even though it is almost surrounded, it is not totally surrounded by the robbery, are not very far from it. It is a town which is a home of many organizations, which of course need to be protected. So I think taking Goma will not be something easy. And on the ground, we have news that there are much changes as the government now is using Chinese drones. So there is a lot of change. It is not possible to take Goma as quick as possible.
We have seen also Desire over the period of time. Entire communities, like for instance Masisi and Rutshuri territories, that were evacuated simply because of this. Do we know where they are? Have they moved further into northern Kivu, into the Goma area?
Well, people in these affected areas, especially in Sake or in other places, people have moved around Goma, where they have been put into refugee camps. We know that there are more than 1,200,000, something like that. And there is also another group which is now in Uganda as refugees. So in Isake, for example, today in the morning they were saying that only militia, pro-government militias and the government soldiers and the rebel group, of course, were there fighting, and then no civilian was there. But it is not easy to verify if it is true, because in this kind of situation, you can see that people try to remain in the forest, people try to hide themselves in the valleys. So it is not clear that there is no single civilian there. So it is not even possible to vacate all this displaced, because I'm someone who is accustomed to wars. We witnessed this for several years. It is not possible for people to leave their houses. It is not possible. I think there must be some who may remain and keep their cattle, for example, guarding their homes. It is possible, but I am sure people have left, but not all of them.
Okay, Desire, rather, thank you so much for coming through to us, Ebote Mingi. Still to come, we continue with our coverage ahead of the